Hello, this is Rozzy Gator, aka Alec Greenberg, and I'm going to be bringing you a creepypasta today instead of the children's book like I had done the week before. Sorry for the stutter there. I'm going to be reading The Smiling Man at the request of my wife. She thought up the idea I should do some creepypastas, and maybe I could throw in some silly voices. So I think why not do The Smiling Man, and we'll go ahead and I shall read this in. Oh, let's go with a silly kind of Russian voice. I think that'll work. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in major city in US. I have always been night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who is decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night and never once had reason to feel afraid. I always used to talk with roommate that even drug dealers in city were polite. But all of that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police patrolled park, quite a ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down the short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I first noticed him. At first, at the far end of the street on my side, was the silhouette of a man, dancing. I don't know why you're dancing in the middle of the night, but it happens. It was strange dance, similar to waltz. But when he finished each box, an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking in the street for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped aside as close I could to the road, giving him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, though, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky, and wearing an old suit, needed to be washed. He danced closer still, until I could not make out his face. His eyes were open wide and wild, head tilted back, slightly looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. Did not want him getting close. I do not like to dance. I took my eyes off of him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back, and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward, smile still wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He did not move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street and sidewalk ahead of me were completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments I felt relieved until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved very fast. I was so shocked that I stood there for a long time staring at him, and then he started moving towards me again. He took giant, exaggerated tiptoe steps, as he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone, except he was moving very, very quickly, lots fast. I started to say at this point, I ran away or pulled out of my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything else, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen as the smiling man crept toward me. I could not move. And then he stopped again, about the car length away from me, still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out for the first time the thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" In an angry, commanding tone. What came out was, "What?" Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it, and I heard it in my own voice.